Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to Cosmic Origins. My name is Jace. We have a number of crazy things to talk about today, including the Solana blockchain completely going down for over 5 hours. We're going to dive into that. And then we're also going to talk about what's going on with XRP, some interesting developments, and interesting groups of people that are meeting today in San Francisco, including Ripple, among others, and what's going to be going on with XRP later this month, and some rumors of some potentially interesting news coming out of Ripple surrounding XRP. So before we dive into that, if you're someone who is new to cryptocurrency and you're looking to have a coach and get in and have someone really help you in the beginning processes all the way to the end in terms of the technology, the fundamentals, everything included, we're going to be launching a new round of the Conscious Crypto Academy in just a couple of weeks here. And we're going to be doing live masterclass. We're going to have technical tutorials that show you how to set up all your wallets and everything you need to get your crypto safe and secure, and then how to actually get it generating decentralized, compounding passive income interest generation on your assets. So while you're waiting for the market to do its thing, you can actually put your assets to use and get over 25% annual returns that are compounding, meaning it's actually going to be more than that. If you claim it more often, you can actually claim it every day. And that's what we'll teach you how to do in the Conscious Crypto Academy. We're going to have weekly coaching calls. We have a 24/7 group chat and a private community of conscious investors. So if this is something that is in alignment with you and you've been feeling the call to take crypto more seriously and get into it, this is your call to action. I want to help you out, and I'd love to see you in our container starting in March. So click the link down below if you want to learn about how to join us and the other members of the Conscious Crypto Academy when we start in just a few weeks here. So let's go into what actually happened today. So the Solana blockchain, the famous SOL token, SOL, this has been consistently one of the top cryptos, and it's actually just above XRP right now. I believe it's the fourth largest crypto by market cap at the moment. Now, the problem with Solana is that it has had a number of different network outages. In fact, over 10 plus major network outages have occurred with Solana over the past few years. And this morning, once again, the Solana network was down for over 5 hours when no blocks were being created. So literally the entire blockchain came to a halt and froze. And you can see here, Digital Perspective says Solana network goes down. Wait, all the venture capitalists holding big bags of it said it was going to be great. Now, was that just because they believe the network will be great, or just the next targeted pump and dump? Tony Edwards of Thinking Crypto podcast says, bruh, how many times over the years has Solana gone down? It's embarrassing at this point. To the people who keep saying Solana is going to overtake Ethereum, you guys should be comedians. With that said, speculators will speculate. I don't think this is affecting the price, blah, blah, blah. So there is a lot of criticism towards Solana as a whole. I align with that. This network outage and all the other ones are a major red flag to me, because on a truly decentralized, healthy blockchain, you should not have network outages. That is something that should not be happening, let alone 10 plus major network outages and multiple other smaller outages. And I believe a couple of those times, the developers actually voluntarily froze to shut down the blockchain. And that within itself is a major red flag, because no developer of any blockchain, if it's truly decentralized, no developer should have the power to shut down the blockchain actually operating. And we've seen that happen with Solana a number of different times. So that is a big, big red flag. And it's one of the main reasons that I don't hold SOL, even though a lot of people talk about it. It's very popular, but there are some major issues with it. And that's not going to be good for its longevity and its health and its scalability moving forward. So Hugo Filon here of the Flare Network says, many of those jeering at Solana right now have had their funds in DeFi protocols that are getting fed data from centralized or minimally decentralized Oracle services. The risk they are taking is not dissimilar to the risk of using a platform that fails over and over from time to time. They just haven't been walloped yet. So what Hugo is talking about here is that the Flare Networks is actually revolutionizing how data is brought on chain. And that's one of the really cool things about Flare, is that they are creating decentralized data aggregation onto the blockchain, meaning outside pieces of data, being anything from market prices to hypothetically things like the weather, any kind of data that you would want to bring on chain, traditionally, so far on most blockchains, has been a centralized data feed. But Flare is creating this decentralized mechanism through which data from the world, from the real world, can come onto the blockchain and not be reliant upon any kind of centralized figure. So I thought that was really interesting in terms of pointing out another thing that is occurring with Solana. And when you compare, XRP has never gone down. Okay, so here's a meme. Talking about how XRP holders are feeling after the Solana outages because XRP has never gone down in its 10 plus years of being a blockchain. So why does Solana have so many issues? Well, there's a lot of theories about how it is kind of like Ethereum, where there are, these hidden whales and these big influences that are pushing Solana, basically being backed by the darker groups that we're aware of in this financial and spiritual war, that they're pushing Solana to be the next big thing like Ethereum, when really it does not have the technology, the capability, the security to really effectively scale to the masses. And so this is one that I have watched with a big red flag and a big warning note in my mind, and I'm going to continue to see. But I would say if you're invested in Solana, just be very discerning, be very careful, because there are these narratives that are out there about these tokens that are perpetuated by the banking cartels and the groups like this. And that's why these blockchains, that are, in the kind of group of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and Binance and the top blockchains, why there is such a narrative from them against XRP. And it really goes to show you where the alliances are being made and who really stands where. So it'll be interesting to see where that plays out. But yeah, 10 plus years, XRPL has never had an outage. So that speaks for itself. Now, here's another interesting development that's going on. I'm going to scroll down. Now that we're talking about XRP, Janet Yellen, the head of the Treasury Secretary, she posted, or she didn't post, but there was a video of her today that was posted, calling for Congress to pass legislation that provided clarity on crypto. And particularly, she says, quote, Congress should pass legislation to provide for the regulation of stable coins and of the spot market for crypto assets that are not securities. So that is a big deal, because the only crypto that's actually not a security is XRP, right? Every single other crypto in the United States does not have the legal clarity that XRP has. Even Bitcoin, I'm pretty sure, does not have legal clarity, meaning there hasn't been a judge that's ruled this is not a security. I think with Bitcoin, it's just been the heads of agencies like the SEC giving their opinion and saying, we're going to choose not to consider it a security. But XRP is the only one that's actually legally positioned and has legal ruling that it is a commodity and not a security. And it makes me think as well of when Trump a few years ago talked about how he's not a fan of unregulated crypto assets. And that was at the time the SEC was suing Ripple and XRP for not registering as a security, basically. And then when Ripple won that case, XRP was publicly declared not a security. Have this interesting alignment where Trump was kind of foreshadowing that we would have a regulated crypto that actually would be integrated into the U.S. economy and international economies. So when we scroll up here, shout out to crypto banker SHX, who pointed out that as Janet Yellen was dropping this information about crypto, on the same day, apparently the White House and a bunch of these other agencies, you can read them here, I'm not going to list them all, but even including Japanese Ministry of Defense, they are all attending a fintech or financial technology retreat in San Francisco. And guess who's also in attendance? Ripple and Stronghold. So that's really interesting, right? And I know that this may raise some red flags around these agencies and, obviously Janet Yellen being a part of the Biden administration and having been such a force against crypto. But I would ask you to take a step back and maybe don't make any conclusions right now, but just look at what the possibilities could be and look at the bigger picture. And when you consider that perhaps there is a greater plan here at play, well, I wonder where this is going to lead, right? So, with that in context, apparently, the rumor is that there's some big news that's going to be coming out from Ripple and surrounding XRP in the coming days. And take this with a grain of salt, but the person that posted this is apparently an ex Google, ex Amazon, and ex Ripple employee. So, we'll see. But what's also happening in the next few days to weeks is the XRP automated market maker update, which is a major, major update that's coming to the XRP ledger that is going to bring in liquidity pools, which is a technology that's going to provide a more decentralized international economy. Essentially, it's a way to decentralize the traditional market makers who are billionaires in the stock market. Now we, as the little guy, get to create the liquidity in these markets by the people for the people. And in addition to that, David Schwartz also jokingly calls it an automated moneymaker because it is a way that us holders are able to generate profit off of the volatility in the market. And so the way automated market makers work is that you put in two different coins in a trading pair and you put these into the liquidity pool. And then when anybody, whether it's an institution or a person or a government, when any group or person comes in and trades between these two assets, let's say it's XRP and the US dollar, anytime someone trades between those two, if you're a member of the liquidity pool, you're going to get a payout relative to your share in the pool. So it's kind of a way to generate interest in a slightly different way, in a different technical capacity, but generating yield from the volatility in the market. And so this is going to represent the first native way that we're able to generate decentralized passive income on the XRP blockchain without having to take the XRP to a different blockchain to do it. So this is going to be major, not just for the holders, but for the energy of the decentralized economy as a whole. And this is set to go live on February 14th if the vote stays in. If 80% of the XRP validators keep their yes vote, it'll go live on February 14th. And you could check out my previous video here on the channel where I show the Ripple Riddler connection to that date as well. And, all these things that we're talking about aligning to some big news and some big events going down in the next, short period of time here. I'm not one to give dates, but we do know for sure that the date of the liquidity pool is set to be February 14th. So we know that for a fact. And this is a graphic that kind of shows you how the liquidity pool will work in terms of I would call it an abundance cycle, where you have liquidity in the market, which is just a representation of money and value in the market itself. That's attracting traders. These traders create more volume in the market, which generates the fees for the liquidity providers like we're going to be providing liquidity. We'll generate the fees from that trading. We'll get the return from that liquidity pool, and then it's invested back into the liquidity pool, and it creates this cycle of generating abundance for the markets and for the investors in the markets like us. So this is really the foundations of how the new financial system is going to operate, these liquidity pools. And it's a really, from an esoteric standpoint, it's a very interesting development because it really is taking a centralized structure and creating a decentralized capacity to replace what used to be the centralized structure. So we're taking the centralized, we're taking the pyramid, and we're basically flipping it upside down to create mass abundance and involvement in the markets by the common person instead of just the millionaires and the billionaires of the world. So that's a big deal. And then here I wanted to share, digital asset investor shared, he had been talking with Grok, which is actually a good use case for it to kind of pull quotes and things like that, pull a bunch of research. And so he said, this has always been why I'm here. No chasing green candles or the next pump for me. Not going to miss the big one. And let's just take a look real quick at what Grok said. So there are several instances where Ripple executives have mentioned XRP as a potential global reserve currency. Here are some notable quotes. Brad Garlinghouse saying, I think the role of a digital asset like XRP is really to be a bridge currency to enable a tremendous amount of efficiency and really allow the globalization of payments in a way that has never been done before. Then he says in 2018, I think that the long-term value of any digital asset is going to be derived from the utility it delivers. And XRP has a lot of utility in terms of solving a multi-trillion-dollar problem, which is this cross-border payments and international economy having all this friction installed by, the powers that were creating this siphoning of the energy that should naturally be flowing throughout the planet. Then Chris Larson, one of the executive chairs and co-founders, said, XRP is the only digital asset with a clear institutional use case designed to solve a multi-trillion-dollar problem, the global payment and liquidity challenges that the banks, payment providers, and corporates face. Then Larson also said, we think XRP has a real chance of being a global digital currency that is used by financial institutions and consumers alike. And in 2018, also, XRP is uniquely positioned to solve a multi-trillion-dollar problem, and we believe it has the potential to become a global standard for assets and payments. So recently, David Schwartz said as well that he could see in the best case scenario, which I think is his way of giving us a little nudge, that that there is a very possible chance that XRP will become the new global reserve currency. So that is a big deal because what we're looking at is an economy not where there's one currency to rule them all, but one where there is a ecosystem of currencies and where XRP serves as this bridge for this ecosystem and provides value to every other form of value out there. So instead of trying to compete with other currencies, it's actually going to enable the other currencies, the national currencies, the precious metals, the commodities, the natural resources, whatever they are, it's going to help the ones that are truly of service that people truly want to use have more liquidity, come to the surface, and be more accessible to the average person. And this is where, when people talk about XRP being backed by gold, it's not actually backed by gold. And maybe some other, maybe some private government will back it by gold because that's what it takes. It takes a centralized group to actually back the gold, which we don't want. We don't want a centralized group having control of our decentralized currencies. But what's going to happen is XRP being that bridge will be the way that we are able to liquidate our gold and our other precious metals into cash or XRP or whatever it is. There will be a market that is very liquid for it. And that's what the power of XRP is. So it's basically indirectly backed by gold and everything else on the planet to the point where it will easily be exchangeable for every other form of value out there. So wanted to keep this video short today and just give you these updates, but it is very exciting what's going to be coming. And I'll keep you updated if there is any big news coming out from Ripple surrounding XRP in the coming days. And if there's anything that comes out of this fintech retreat going on in San Francisco and potentially Congress passing some legislation. So thank you guys for hanging out. Again, if you want to join the Conscious Crypto Academy, we're going to be starting in a couple weeks. And what this academy is going to do is walk you through every step of the process of getting the fundamentals down, learning the concepts, and then into the technical of actually setting up your wallets, purchasing, transferring, storing your crypto, making payments. If you're a business, how to accept payments in crypto, finding the cryptos that are ready for mass adoption, that are in the ecosystem of XRP and that are ISO 200.2.2 compatible. And then finally, using all of that to set up decentralized passive income streams, which is like what we were talking about with the liquidity pools over here. That is one of those forms of decentralized passive income. But there are multiple ways that you can concurrently stack passive income using your crypto, totally separate from whatever the markets are doing in terms of your, your national currency, US dollar, or whatever it is. So we can actually generate decentralized compounding interest, which is really amazing. And the main one we're focusing on right now is getting us over 25% APY, annual percentage yield, compounding interest. So if this interests you and you feel called to joining our coaching container, you can click the link down below. I would love to see you there when we start. And thank you guys again for watching. Click like and subscribe if this helped you out, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everyone.